Hey friends, it's Michael B. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. And in today's video, we got a little bit of news to share with you. First up, AtGames have launched their AtGames Affordable Financing Program, helping people out there pick up the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K on a financing plan from them directly. Is this a good thing? On top of that, we're going to take a look at Wonderland Amusements' first look at gameplay from their upcoming affordable pinball machine, Alice Goes to Wonderland, and last but not least, Nintendo have gone absolutely crazy adding games to the Nintendo Switch Online, more than I have ever seen since I've been a member of the program. We're going to tell you more about this and everything else right after this. So that's right guys, tons of news to share with you today. AtGames Affordable Financing, our first look at gameplay on the barebone box of Alice Goes to Wonderland, and last but not least, oh my god, there's been so many games added to the Nintendo Switch Online service. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much everybody for checking out the video, guys. I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all that YouTube jazz. So you guys may remember all the way back at Pinball Expo, we got to meet the team behind Wonderland Amusements and get a look at their 3/4 scale real physical pinball machine that's apparently going to be under $1,000. Since then, we've got a lot of updates like the name, who's going to be doing the art. We got to look at some of the design schematics, but it still remains, what is gameplay going to be like and will it be any good? Well, Wonderland did share the first official gameplay footage from their machine yesterday, the prototype for Alice Goes to Wonderland. Here's a video of Peter playing, and guys, I gotta tell you, I was actually pretty impressed with what I saw. I mean, for the fact that this is going to be under $1,000, we get a look at the giant castle structure up there, the way the flippers look, the way the ball moves around. We know it's going to be slightly smaller, but you know what, guys? I was pretty impressed with this. I was also impressed with the quality of the trailer. Again, it's pretty hard to say whether or not this is going to be a good experience. How does it feel? You don't know until you actually get your hands on it, especially with a new company. How does the ball play and all that stuff? But from what I looked at in the very brief gameplay trailer, it looked pretty good. Now, to be fair, this is a very high-produced, well-produced gameplay trailer. Video is well done. It's shot in a way that, you know, fast cutaways. It's not like we're seeing extended gameplay. So, I mean, what I would like to see now that we've got a first look at the prototype and the ball actually banging around, it would be nice at some point if the people from Wonderland Amusements would take the time, maybe do a live stream or upload, like, you know, full video of gameplay on the prototype so we can get a better feel for it. Or maybe they're going to hold off and wait until we have something closer to a finished product. But honestly, from what I've seen so far, the little bit, I'm not disappointed. I mean, I have high hopes, and hopefully the product keeps coming along well. I'm always going to be looking at this with a skeptical view because they're trying to do something that is just not reasonable. It may recreate real pinball, which is so expensive and so labor intensive and so many parts. You know, it's going to be really hard to do well, or else you're going to come out with some kind of zizzle product. But I'm hopeful because pinball is awesome to go and play, you know, but in order to own it and have it in your home, it's not exactly the cheapest thing in the world. I mean, pinball machines are anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. So being able to buy something that costs under $1,000, if it's good, that'll be a miracle. So, you know, fingers crossed for Wonderland Amusements. Alice Goes to Wonderland. Hope it's going to turn out to be good. So far, not bad. So let's talk about Nintendo Switch Online. This program has been running for what now? 2-3 years with an online catalog of classic games for the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy. And then with the expansion pack, you're also getting Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, and Sega Genesis. So I've been a big advocate of this program. I love the fact that they allow you to play retro games. I mean, I would have just preferred to shop to an online service, but what are you going to do? I love the fact that they re-release the classic controllers so you can play on your Switch and make it still feel like you're playing on the original console. There's lots of things I like about it, but to be fair, over the course of the last couple months, maybe last year, the titles have been, well, kind of lacking. I mean, basically, it seems like they've completely run out of steam for the NES library. Super Nintendo's the same thing. Some of the games they've been adding are just ridiculous bargain bin games, so we haven't seen a lot. The big, big publisher that have been coming out with all the great games, the one that they've been really knocking it out of the park with was the Sega Genesis, but that has disappeared the last couple of months, and there's some concern with Sega taking their games down online that maybe that won't be updated anymore. But I don't know what happened, but in the last month, Nintendo have gone absolutely crazy, adding more games to the Nintendo Switch Online within the last 2 months than I've seen probably in the last year and a half. First up, in what I feel was kind of a stealth drop, I didn't even realize they did this, but back in October, Nintendo released 2 more games to the Nintendo 64 mature section. Maybe that's why I never saw it. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, and Shadow Man. I'm going to tell you personally, I don't know much about Shadow Man. This is a game I never played growing up. I think I did eventually pick it up just randomly at a flea market or thrift store one day when I was back collecting N64 games, but I don't remember much about playing it. Now, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil is a different story. As you guys know, I was a big fan of the first Turok game, and then randomly, I didn't even ask for it, one Christmas, I ended up getting Turok 2 Seeds of Evil as one of my games that Christmas. I guess my mom knew how much I liked the original Turok, so she told Santa. And anyways, this is a game I had growing up. I put a lot of time in, excited to see it come out on the Nintendo Switch Online for the Nintendo 64 in the mature section. Then in the very same month, we got yet another Nintendo 64 release on the Nintendo Switch Online. That's 3 in 1 month, which is completely abnormal for Nintendo. We actually got the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie. We got Banjo-Tooie. This is a game I never owned growing up. I don't know why. For whatever reason, I did eventually pick it up collecting, but I didn't put a lot of time into it. I actually beat Banjo-Kazooie for the first time on the Nintendo Switch Online, so I'm going to go back and play this one as well. Awesome entry into the series. Glad to see it added. Holy shit, 3 N64 games. Then the peasants with the original, Nintendo Switch Online membership, not the expansion pack. I didn't really call you guys peasants. But, if you didn't get the advanced one, you got a little bit of good stuff coming up this month with, kind of out of nowhere, they released Donkey Kong Land for the Game Boy. Pretty exciting stuff. This is one I'm not very familiar with. I haven't played a ton of the original Game Boy games on the Nintendo Switch Online yet, but it's cool to see them added. This is one I've always been interested in, so excited to try it out. And what's wild is there's usually a wait until you get a sequel or another game for that. Regular Nintendo Switch Online members are saying 1 game, big deal. Then like just a week later, they come out and release Donkey Kong Land 2. I don't know why you wouldn't release these as a set. It seems crazy that they release both of these back to back like that, but Nintendo Switch Online also gets Donkey Kong Land 2. So lots of Donkey Kong coming to your systems on the Nintendo Switch Online. Now, last but not least, remember how I said just the other day, man, there hasn't been a Sega Genesis update in forever. And with the news that Sega were taking games down online, it seemed inevitable that, maybe the Nintendo Switch Online enhancement pack, or whatever it's called, we were going to see less and less Sega Genesis releases going forward, or maybe not anymore. So last night I turned on my Nintendo Switch. I was playing a little bit of Echoes of Wisdom, and I wanted to do the updates to add Donkey Kong Land and Donkey Kong Land 2, but I always go through all the consoles to see if there's anything I might have missed. I opened up the Sega Genesis, and it said update available, and I said, oh shit. I was scared to death that this was some kind of secret update where they were going to be taking away some of the Genesis games, like we had heard online they've done from some online shops. Lo and behold, when I opened it up, there was 3 new games, because there was another announcement last night, and we got new Sega Genesis games. So late last night, they announced a November update for the Sega Genesis on the Nintendo Switch Online. First up is coming Toe Jam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron. I'm not the biggest Toe Jam and Earl fan. I have played the original. I haven't put a lot of time into Panic on Funkatron. This is one that's very different from the original game, so interested to see what people think of this one. Toe Jam and Earl, never really been my jam, but we'll see how it does. Now this one is more exciting. Vector Man is one of those Sega Genesis games people love. They say it's one of those must-have games for the console, so excited to get my teeth into Vector Man, play this a little bit on the Nintendo Switch Online. It's got weird and wild graphics, a later Genesis game, so excited to check this one out. Now, last but not least is a game that's, I don't know if it's the unofficial sequel to Commando. A lot of people say that. I'm not 100% sure, but Mercs. Now, this one has some personal nostalgia for me. My buddy Chris that lived next door to me, he had this game for his Genesis growing up, put a lot of time into it, so excited to see Mercs on the Nintendo Switch Online. Now, you guys are probably saying, lucky us, Nintendo Switch Online, finally Nintendo is giving us what we deserve for having these, paid memberships on top of the online, on top of, the extra stuff. We get the enhancement pack, like the Mario Kart, extra courses, all that stuff. It's nice that we're getting some value from it. But the question is, why are they doing it now? Well, unless you've had your head in the clouds, you would know that there's a bunch of Christmas sales going on Nintendo Switch right now. Nintendo has put a new Mario Kart OLED bundle out there, as well as sale prices on a lot of their consoles and games. I'm thinking they're anticipating a bunch of kids are going to get a new or the very first Switch coming up this holiday season, and what better way to get people excited than to throw a bunch of content up on Nintendo Switch Online so there's good value and buzz about it around the time when you're picking it up. That's how you're going to get people to buy your Nintendo Switch Online memberships. On top of that, Nintendo do have a new Nintendo Switch game coming out in the very near future that they have to sell. People are already pretty upset about the fact that it's priced as a full-price game, seeing as this is a multiple-year-old Wii game being slightly remastered to play on the Nintendo Switch. So that's the reason they're putting out the Donkey Kong Land games there. I would anticipate in the next couple of months before this game releases, we'll see future Donkey Kong releases coming out on Nintendo Switch Online. Hopefully this means we'll get Donkey Kong 64 on the Nintendo 64 Online platform before sooner or later. So anyways, guys, moving from one controversy to what seems like a controversy for some reason in the home arcade community, this past week, AtGames announced AtGames Affordable Financing. There's a soft launch on right now. If you want to finance your AtGames Legends Pinball 4K, you can do so directly through AtGames. So here was the announcement that went out 14 hours ago about the AtGames Affordable Financing. We've kind of known it for a while now. It was shared in the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K group a little while back that they were thinking about doing, and now it's coming out. So here's what you need to know. AtGames Affordable Financing currently available exclusively for the Legends Pinball 4K piece, so none of their other products, none of the Legends HD products, or none of the accessories, just for the Legends Pinball 4K. They're going to have 30 early bird customers who will get exclusive access before anyone else, first come, first serve, enjoy Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, prices, plus the $50 Legends referral program discount applied to your purchase. So keep in mind there's a bunch of content creators with Legends referral program. I don't have one, so I won't share it, but you can go check them out. There's bunches of guys at Games. I've posted them on their website. It's a great way to save $50. Find one of those content creators and use their codes. Applications for the AtGames Affordable Financing Program are open now. We'll take a look at those in a second. And there's also a frequently asked questions. When this is just coming out, I don't know how there's frequently asked questions, but I guess they're guesstimating what the questions could be. This early launch means more time for you to experience the incredible benefits of the AtGames Affordable Financing Program, while we personally support each of our 30 early birds for a smooth start. I think that's a pretty good idea to start out with a small sample and see how it works before you go full scale, and that's pretty smart from AtGames for doing that. So again, guys, this is just for the Legends 4K pinball machines. Now, people are probably asking, why is AtGames doing this in the first place? I mean, one, there already is financing. You could already finance your machine through a firm, or you can put it on a credit card. So there's ways that people can finance their machines, but AtGames is trying something different. They want to do it firsthand and offer 0% financing, which we'll get into in a little bit of a second. The other reason is AtGames are constantly trying to find ways to deal with the feedback they've received from customers that maybe their pinball machine is a little expensive. I mean, I can't quote you on how much it actually costs. We can make assumptions, and then whenever anybody makes assumptions, they assume AtGames is a charity and have no overhead and don't have to pay their staff. But, you know, you got to keep in mind that obviously this costs whatever it costs. AtGames have made some attempts in the past to get the price down. For one, for example, is the premium starter model that they tried to launch. It's been pretty successful first. There's some concessions with this one, but you do get it at a cheaper price point. You don't get the topper. You don't get your advanced features, which is another one. I'll never fully understand that one, but it is what it is. And then the other thing is it doesn't come with the games, but you get a lower purchase price. Now, is that the ideal way to meet the demands of customers who are saying the machine's too expensive? Probably not. Like, some people are just going to look at this and say, too rich for my blood, and that's it. Game over. That's kind of what I did the other day when I looked at those Mondo's Ghostbuster toys. I really wanted them, but at $200 I was like, too rich for my blood, and I just moved on with my life. I didn't complain and get angry, but, you know, such is life. People are going to do that. So this was AtGames' first attempt at personally trying to do something to lower the price to, you know, meet those fans that just either couldn't afford or didn't want to pay the $1,500 for the Legends Pinball 4KP. So their second attempt, obviously, is the AtGames Affordable Financing. So the thing is, while there are other financing options out there, like credit cards or, you know, personal loans or a firm, I think it's called. I don't know if we can use that in Canada. Not everybody gets approved for those. So there's some select people that are on the outside not able to pick these up. So what AtGames are trying to do is offer a better solution where they can pick and choose which people they're going to take. I have no idea whether or not there's a background credit check or anything like that, but they have a program set up with 0% interest and a payment plan in place. It kind of works like, you know, we have furniture stores here where they have 0% interest for a year as long as you get it paid off within a year. This kind of works exactly the same way. So for the soft launch, they're taking 30 customers. The way the program works is you have to make an upfront payment of $500 towards the machine, $500, and then you have to pay $100 for shipping. Then what happens is the remainder of the machine gets paid out over the portion of 12 months in equal installment payments, and there's 0% interest on that. The only way that there is interest is if you fail to make a payment, then there's penalties applicable. So they first say right here, the AtGames Affordable Financing Plan allows customers to purchase an AtGames Legends 4K through an installment plan at 0% interest. Customers make an initial payment. We just covered that. Is the finance plan available to all customers? Available to residents of the continental U.S., aged 18 or older with a valid credit card. So you have to have a credit card, but you don't have to use it. Each customer can have one active finance plan at a time. Is it interest-free? Yes, as long as all payments are made on time. You can only do one machine at a time. What is eligible to be purchased? It's just the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K right now. I would imagine as time goes on, once they release the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K, that might also be in the program. Initial payment, $500 plus $100 shipping. We covered that. When will I receive the machine? They're actually going to send it out right away, so it's not like a layaway. Like, once you make your initial $500 payment, the $100 shipping, they're going to send the machine out to you right away, and then you just make the payments. Now, the question is, I asked when I heard about this, what do they do if you don't pay? Like, are they going to send a repo man to come get your machine? We'll get to that in a little bit. So they do say, exceptions, it'll take 1 to 5 days, except if you get Sea of Thieves, that's not going to be delivered until December 31st, 2024. Payments calculated, divided 12 equal payments. We talked about that. Your first payment's due 30 days after you receive your Legends 4K. Payments automatically deducted from your chosen payment method, so it can be from your credit card, can be from your bank account, whatever way you want to do it. So that's a little bit. Can I pay off the balance early? Yes, with 0% interest. There's no problem paying off the balance early. The only reason that there's a penalty for paying off the balance early with other plans and stuff like that is they want to get their cut of their chunk of money from the interest. So that's why there's a penalty. The penalty is usually the interest balance. What happens if I miss a payment? You get a 10-day grace period. Your machine will enter a locked mode. So this is how they're going to do it. So it's like putting a boot on a car, basically. They put a boot on your machine. It enters a lock mode, and the only thing you can do on your machine until you make a payment is update your payment information. Users may need to perform a power cycle once your payment is processed. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. What happens after I make the final payment? Once all payments are complete, your machine will be fully unlocked, and you will receive both on-device and email notifications confirming your ownership. Is my payment information secure? We assume so. What data does AtGames collect to manage my finance plan? Machine's UUID, payment status, and basic contact details to manage payment plan. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not seeing anything here about approving a, credit score check or anything like that. So interesting. How can I change my credit card on file? Can I view my payment history? Yes, payment history can be viewed through Manage Payment feature in settings on My Digital Locker. I've never used that. Sale prices like Nod promotions. Yes, so you can use it in conjunction with a sale. Can I take advantage of AtGames Affordable Financing if I'm using a $50 off referral link? We covered that, yes. Am I allowed to add an SSF kit? Any of that stuff? Oh, so here's an interesting one. Am I allowed to add things? So it looks like you are allowed to add things, so you can add your SSF kit, arcade control panel, light up topper, or perform any other hardware modifications. I think they mean software, like the advanced features. So you can do that up front and add that as part of your financing. But if your machine is being repossessed, digital table packs are yours to keep. So they will repossess the machine. It's not just locked. Like, they will come. A guy named Vito comes in a truck and gets your machine back. Interesting. So guys, that's pretty much the extent of the frequently asked questions. So for some reason, some people are trying to make like this big fuss about this. Like, this is the worst thing in the world. I just think it's an option. I don't understand why people get so upset at AtGames. I guess there's a lot of people either unhappy with the product for whatever reason, or they're unhappy with the price and want to condemn AtGames for it and try to find fault in this. It's just a financing plan. It literally doesn't mean anything. They're trying to provide options for people to get the machine because they see a lot of people in the comments saying they're unhappy with the price or they're unhappy with this. So AtGames are just coming up with ways for you to buy the machine. All you have to do is just say, I'm not interested, and move on. So, yeah, I don't know why people are upset about this. I don't really see a huge problem with it. I mean, if anything, I think this is a risk on AtGames' part. Like, there's a lot that goes into, doing your own financing and stuff like that. That's why third parties like Affirm do so well, is most companies don't want to get into first-party financing. But, hopefully it's successful for them, and good on them to provide an option that's interest-free. So I think this is a nothing burger in terms of the controversy people are trying to put around it. And yeah, it's just a different way for you guys in the US to buy your 4KPs. So guys, if you are planning on using the AtGames affordable pricing, we did find out from the frequently asked questions or the fact sheet, you can in fact use AtGames affordable financing towards sale prices on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K, and AtGames do have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale coming up this weekend. So if you do want to purchase an AtGames Legends Pinball 4K, don't worry, it's coming up in a second. They will be on sale this upcoming week. You can use your financing towards the sale price. Then on top of that, you can use the YouTube referral link for whatever YouTuber you want to save an additional $50 off your finance purchase. So keep that in mind if you're planning on using the AtGames affordable financing. So anyways, guys, that's my quick news blast I've got for you this morning. AtGames affordable financing. It's just an option. No need to, try to get a witch hunt about it. There's nothing, weird about this. It's just a company doing first-party financing and offering 0% interest. I actually think that's pretty interesting. It's going to be a lot for AtGames to pull off. Glad they're starting small, and hopefully it works out for everybody. On top of that, Nintendo Switch Online, bunches of games coming out, a ton of N64, we got some Game Boy, we even got some more Sega Genesis. I'm all about that. I like the Nintendo Switch Online digital platform, being able to play retro games so quickly through my Switch with the original controllers, and I gotta say, I'm pretty interested in what they added here. Of course, there's ulterior motives for it to get people excited about the Nintendo Switch Online membership with the Christmas season coming up, and then on top of that, to try to sell copies of Donkey Kong Country Returns Remastered on the Switch. And then last but not least, Wonderland Amusements share the first look at the prototype demo of gameplay on the Alice Goes to Wonderland table. So far, cautiously optimistic. I mean, it looks okay, but then again, we didn't really get a full gameplay reveal. What we got was some quick images in a very well-produced video. It's going to be a while until we see a live stream of actual gameplay before we can start to make some harder opinions. And the reality with pinball is the proof is in the play. It's going to be hard for you to choose whether or not you're going to want to put down $1,000 on this pinball machine until you get hands-on experience. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on that below in the comments. Once again, thank you very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.